Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a really fascinating and, I have to say, highly strategic approach to one of the most complex topics out there, relationship dynamics.
We have a deep stack of material here, and it's all focused on, well, reverse engineering happiness.
Mm-hmm.
The sources really suggest that most traditional advice just fails because it ignores these fundamental, often conflicting instincts that are just baked into us.
That's so true. Our mission today is to cut through all that noise and expose some of the paradigms that can make fulfillment seem impossible. We're looking for those specific, actionable nuggets that create real collaboration.
The little spot the material calls heaven on earth.
Exactly.
And the approach is almost like an engineer's. It's very clinical. If the result you want, say, a harmonious partnership is impossible in your current framework, well, then the framework is the problem. You need a new one.
Okay, so let's start with what might be the biggest paradigm shock right out of the gate, because it just completely flips the assumed dynamic. The material suggests women are kind of programmed to constantly strive to please men for safety.
Yeah, that's the foundational survival instinct. But here's the pivot, the part that everyone misses. Men are, generally speaking, pretty easy to please.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They're not hard work in that sense. The problem is that being pleased, feeling comfortable, having his preferences met,
Yeah,
is just not worth much to him.
not worth much. Why? I mean, if he's comfortable and happy, wouldn't that be a high value thing?
You'd think so, but his value system is just oriented differently. It's about achievement, about purpose. Being pleased doesn't really move the needle on his mission. So if he's pleased, great. It's a minor checkbox. His core drivers are tied to building, protecting, accomplishing things.
So the energy a woman might spend trying to please him is often misplaced.
Completely misplaced because it's not connecting to his highest values. The focus needs to shift from her emotional landscape to the factual outcome he's trying to produce.
That just flips the entire script. Okay, so let's unpack this more. Section 1, the conflict between safety and security.
These are two fundamentally opposing instincts. They come from survival needs that, haven't really caught up with modern life yet.
And for women, the core drive is safety.
Right, and it's about the feeling of being safe. This is so crucial. It is not fact-based. It's an internal state. Women are conditioned to constantly monitor for cues. His expression, his tone of voice. Is he happy? Is he upset?
All to answer that primordial question, will he protect me if a threat shows up?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Her internal alarm system is screaming, if the tiger arrives right now, he won't save me.
Yeah.
It's irrational maybe, but the instinct is incredibly powerful.
And
men are focused on security, which is entirely fact-based. Money in the bank, track record, influence. They almost never use the word safe unless they're talking about like their family's physical well-being or maybe that someone is safe to talk to.
so his metric is quantifiable. Hers is a feeling. And that's where the communication just breaks down.
100%. A woman thinks if he really loved me, he'd track my preferences, he'd anticipate my needs, because that's what her safety system does.
And he's over there operating on productive action. He hears a complaint or a hint as just data. It's not actionable.
Yes. If she says the trash can is overflowing, but doesn't follow it up with, could you please take the trash out?
He just hears a status update. The trash is full, noted.
Exactly. So he concludes, well, she didn't ask, so it must not be a problem, while she's thinking, you saw my suffering and you did nothing, so you must not care.
And the intention is just completely misread on both sides.
It's like two different operating systems. Women speak in terms of issues, these abstract emotional conflicts. Men are wired to solve problems, define tasks, clear solutions.
If it doesn't translate into a clear action, it's just noise.
It gets filed away, yeah.
That idea of an actionable request is huge. Okay, so let's move on to commitment. Society loves to paint men as commitment phobes, but these sources argue the opposite, that men are naturally committal.
They are, but they're committal to an objective. They see marriage specifically as this incredibly complicated long-term project. It requires a massive investment of resources. So the material says men are actually smarter about commitment than women.
Smarter because they see the gravity of it.
Yes. And here's the jaw dropper. When they're considering that level of commitment, things like romantic love or emotional connection are not on the list of the 12 non-negotiable foundations they look for.
Wait, not on the list at all.
Not among those top 12 foundations.
Yeah.
It's a shocker, right? But it makes sense if you accept the premise that men are solving for security and purpose, not for emotional validation. These 12 things are factual, pragmatic. If even one is off, The whole project is at risk.
Okay, we have to hear some of these. What are the metrics they're really using?
One of the biggest is that she doesn't emasculate him too much. Now, that too much changes over time, but it's directly tied to his sense of competency. We'll get more into that.
Okay.
Another huge one. She must genuinely like him.
Like him. Not love him, but like him. What's the distinction there?
It means she enjoys who he is. She laughs at his jokes, respects his process, affirms his value without him having to constantly prove it. Love can be intense. It can be codependent. Liking him is this stable affirmation of his core self. If he feels she dislikes his actual personality,
Yeah.
the relationship is dead on arrival.
Wow. Okay, that clarifies a lot. What else?
Well, their futures have to be going in the same direction.
Mm.
They need compatible or complementary values. Commitment isn't just about today, it's about the trajectory.
And communication. It has to have a purpose.
A very specific one. It has to be productive. It has to solve problems. And when there's conflict, she has to stay on the same team. She can't just make him the problem. The goal is resolution, not blame.
Okay, and there are two more you said are really key for his drive to provide.
Yes. First, he has to be attracted to her. And they break this down. It's not just sexual. It's also being charmed, enchanted, that she's this special, unique source of light for him.
I like that source of light.
And finally, and this is maybe the most powerful one, he knows he can make her happy.
That's the bullseye. That's the ultimate goal for him.
It is. A man's entire sense of purpose is tied to meeting needs. The sources call it a generator. He receives appreciation, he provides more. If he can't provide, he loses his value in the partnership.
And what fuels that generator?
It's appreciation. The material literally calls appreciation oxygen for men. It is the act of consciously feeding providers.
That's a perfect transition into attraction, because the sources draw this really sharp line between the drive to take and the drive to give.
Yeah, sexual attraction, that physical, sensual energy, it inspires a man to want to take. It's primal. Grab it, take it. But charm is different. Charm is what makes him want to give.
So what are those qualities? What makes a woman irresistibly charming, the kind that inspires that giving?
Okay, so there are four big ones. The first and the most common answer from men across all these panels is self-confidence. It's magnetic. It signals she's a stable partner, not a project.
Right. And number two is something that often gets confused with pleasing him, but it's actually the opposite, authenticity.
Yes. And men interpret authenticity as courage. It's the courage to be direct, to share her dreams, to say what she needs without apology or manipulation. Women are often taught to pretend, to be agreeable, to stay safe, but men find that pretense way less valuable than the courage to be real.
So an honest request, even a difficult one, is more charming than pretending everything's fine.
Much more, yeah.
Okay, authenticity as courage. I love that. What's next?
Passion. She has to have something outside of him, outside of the relationship, that feeds her soul. The sources say it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a huge career or, like one source hilariously said, collecting ceramic cows.
Ceramic cows. Got it.
But that independent drive actually causes a measurable testosterone spike in men. It boosts his well-being because he sees he's partnering with a source of energy, not a drain.
She brings energy to the table. She's not just taking it. And the fourth one, you said it completes the cycle.
It's the capstone, receptivity. The first three things make him want to give, but if she can't receive it, if her first response is always, oh, I can do that myself, the whole dynamic breaks.
Because if his purpose is to meet needs and she won't let him,
then you're basically telling him he's unnecessary. You're shutting down his purpose.
And that inability to receive brings us right to the emasculation trap. The sources say this is the central thing that breaks down partnerships.
Absolutely central. And we need a really clear definition here. Emasculation isn't just hurting a guy's feelings. The working definition is, when you diminish my ability to produce results, you have emasculated me.
So it's all about productivity, not just emotions. What are the triggers?
Primarily female fear and frustration. When a woman feels unsafe or she's just incredibly frustrated, her instinct can be to attack his competency.
And here's the really weird part, the counterintuitive insight. The material says women often do this when the man is happy, when he's having a victory. Why?
Because male happiness and power are, on a biological level, terrifying to a woman who's wired for safety monitoring. Men feel power and happiness in the same place, the chest, the shoulders, and that surge of male empowerment can register subconsciously as a threat.
So when he feels powerful, her instinct is to cut him down a bit.
To trim him down, yeah. The sources say it's like we metaphorically feel the need to say off with his legs just to restore a sense of equilibrium. It's a scary thought.
That is a horrifying but really useful insight.
Okay, so what are the everyday ways this happens without us even realizing it?
The most common is probably interrupting peace. For a man, single focus is peace. So when he's focused on something and you ask him a question and then you talk over his, 10-second pause while he's gathering the answer,
That pause. That's the sound of him working.
that's the sound of his single focus gathering data.
Yeah.
You're interrupting his productivity and his peace. You have to let him finish. Another one is withholding information.
How does that work?
This is when a woman doesn't say what she truly needs because she thinks needing help is weak, or she doesn't want to make him feel bad. But by not giving him a need to meet, she's blocking him from his purpose. She's diminishing his ability to produce a result for her.
And then there's the truth paradox.
Oh, this one is devastating. We teach men not to tell the truth by getting emotionally upset by it. He quickly learns, there was no problem with that truth until it came out of my mouth.
So to get honesty, you have to reward it. You have to. The source material says he must get more points for telling the truth than he loses by what the truth is. We have to manage our reaction to prioritize that transparency.
Which requires overriding that deep instinctual fear. Okay, so given all this, how do we move forward? Let's go back to that male bullseye, making his woman happy.
This is where we have to get the happiness geometry, this 4-quadrant model. It shows that happiness isn't just on or off.
Can you break down those 4 quadrants?
Sure. Imagine a graph. The vertical axis is needs from lack to more than enough. The horizontal is fulfillment from lack to engaged. Quadrant 1 is lack, constant fear, instability, no happiness there. Quadrant 2 is more than enough needs, but lack of fulfillment. She's safe, but she's bored. Comfortable, but not happy.
So stability isn't enough. Where is happiness?
It's in quadrant 3. More than enough needs, and she's engaged in what fulfills her. That's the sweet spot. Needs are met, and she's pursuing her purpose. Quadrant 4, by the way, is engaged but lacking needs. That's just unsustainable.
And the sources say that getting into quadrant 3 is, what, like 95% up to the woman herself?
It is, but when she gets there, when she's truly happy, the effect on him is described as radioactive happiness.
Yeah.
It validates his entire purpose. It makes him feel like a rock star. It triggers that primal response. Let's build something. Let's kill something.
His core mission is affirmed.
Yes. And this is where the appreciative response is so critical. The high-scoring comment is, I couldn't have done this without the space you gave me. It recognizes his contribution. The emasculating response, the lie, is, I'm happy because of my career, not you.
Which just negates his entire role.
It erases him, yeah.
So we know the goal, but we're fighting against all this instinct. We need a low-energy solution. We need a trim tab.
The trim tab, that tiny flap on a huge ship's rudder. It takes very little energy to move it, but it can tune the entire ship. Small, low-energy changes are the key.
Give us a couple of those trim tabs. What are the small, powerful actions?
Okay, first one, communication. When you ask a man a factual question and he pauses, just let him finish. Count to 30 in your head. Most men will have a full single-focus answer by about second 18, just waiting. It's a low-energy act with a huge return.
That's a great one. And the second?
Use hero language. Don't come to him with an issue. Issues are abstract, they're unsolvable. Define it as a problem. Frame it like this. I have a problem and I need your specific help with it. That gives him the actionable command he needs to engage his purpose.
Fantastic dive. I mean, the realization that we're often operating on this primordial survival-based programming. It's not some idealized romance. It's so humbling and kind of freeing, actually.
The key is just awareness. Becoming aware of when you're not at choice, when you're just acting on these destructive instincts. The choice is to stop expecting men to be, a kind of woman and to start looking for those complementary strengths.
The sources have that great analogy, and that Tom Brady isn't looking for another Tom Brady.
No. He's looking for a Jerry Rice. Someone with a completely different complementary skill set that changes what's possible for the whole team.
Find that complementary strength. Thank you for synthesizing all of this complex information into such clear, actionable points.
My pleasure.
And now, for you, the learner, a final provocative thought to sit with. If the source of human relationships is really survival and reproduction, not love or fulfillment or teamwork, then what conscious and intentional choice must you make today to build a relationship that transcends that instinct and moves toward that heaven on earth?